All right, let's see here. Making sure that all my sound is working. So it is, what day is it? It's Thursday. It's about 7 p.m. Central Time. And I'm getting on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube to talk about how yoga can help inflexible people with their fitness. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and say hi to a couple of people. What's up, Lo? Lo is a member. He's been a member for quite a long time now. All right, some people coming in on Facebook, some people filtering in on YouTube and on Instagram. I'm just going to wave at you guys. What's up? If you guys are watching now, and let me know what your yoga experience is. So if you're watching right now, let me know what your yoga experience is. Go ahead and just type it out. So if you're brand new to yoga, if you've never done yoga before, let me know. Maybe you've been doing yoga for a really long time now. Maybe you've been doing yoga on and off. Just go ahead and let me know what your kind of yoga history is, or kind of your status with yoga right now. And I'm opening up all the blinds so it's nice and sunny in here. Let me put this one up here. Maybe this will make the light better. Yes, maybe. Ooh, that's bright. All right, so thanks guys for joining me. Again, today we're going to be talking about how yoga can help inflexible, active dudes. All right, so, and again, leave a comment and let me know about your fitness or your yoga experience. So if you're a beginner, if you're intermediate, how often are you doing yoga, and that kind of thing, and maybe where you're doing yoga. If you're doing it at a studio, if you're doing my workouts on YouTube, if you're part of my members area, or maybe you've got one of my programs, go ahead and let me know. All right, so yoga for inflexible people. Where do I begin? So one of the biggest reasons why people don't do yoga, or they're scared of doing yoga, is because they're too inflexible, like Brian just said right now, because they're too inflexible to do yoga. But saying that you're too inflexible to do yoga is like saying I'm too weak to do weightlifting. Yoga is one of the best things that you can do to improve your mobility. And what's tough is obviously it's tough to do yoga in a normal yoga class because most of the people who are going to yoga classes are flexible, which is why I created Manflow Yoga, to help people who are too inflexible for most normal yoga classes. So we do workouts that are focused on people who are inflexible. We give modifications for guys, and I'm the instructor, and I used to be an inflexible guy. I'm not super flexible. I can't do the splits. I can't put my arms behind my back and press my fingers together behind my back or stuff like that. So, this is really what I do is yoga for inflexible people. But so first off, you're not too inflexible for yoga. You're just finding the wrong yoga. You need to find a yoga that focuses on giving you the right modifications if you are inflexible. So that's the first thing. You're not too inflexible for yoga. You're just not doing the right yoga classes. But the biggest excuse of why people don't do yoga is because they're too inflexible. But in order to get more flexible, you have to start doing something that trains your flexibility. And that's why yoga is really good at this. Just because the movements that you do focus on building strength and building flexibility, or increasing flexibility and starting to build some strength in your end range of motion. Now, what does that mean? So your end range of motion is how deep you can go into a pose. So for example, you guys can kind of see me right now, but my end range of motion is reaching as far back as I can with my arm overhead, right? So this is my end range of motion. This is deep as I can get. Now, training that is going to help you get better at it. So if I keep doing this for every day for the next 6 months, or let's say a 1 month, eventually I'm going to be able to reach that arm back really far because I'm practicing it, because I'm doing it over and over again. So there are certain moves that you can do to help to improve your flexibility. There are moves that you can do. But typical workouts don't really work on your flexibility, right? If we're doing squats, if we're doing lunges, the focus of those exercises, or push-ups or pull-ups, let's say, the focus of most of those workouts are on your strength. So we're not really building, you're not really building a lot of flexibility while you're doing that. So you need to do something that's flexibility focused in order to improve flexibility. Now, when you're younger, when you're in your teens and when you're in your 20s, a lot of us can get away with a lack of mobility training. I know personally, when I was lifting weights, when I was a teenager, I had pretty poor mobility, but it's because you bounce back from things so quickly, and you don't get joint problems as easily, and your muscles recover so quickly and your body recovers so quickly. These little aches and pains that you had, you can just ignore them because they go away the next day. But when you get into your 20s and you keep doing and get later into your 20s and you get into your 30s, your 40s, 50s, and beyond, and you keep doing the same things that you were doing when you were a teenager, your body starts to protest. It starts to say, oh, this doesn't feel good, or ow, this lift doesn't feel good. So things that you used to do without any pain now start to cause some pain. All right, someone just asked moves for touching the toes. Dude, just reach down and touch your toes. That will help you touch your toes. Bend your knees if you're having issues. But anyways, sorry, I won't get sidetracked by questions again. So what was I saying? So when you're in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, and beyond, it starts to get difficult to keep working out like you did because your body starts to protest. And basically this, so this comes off in the form of knee pain. This comes out in the form of back pain. This comes out in the form of shoulder pain, maybe some wrist and elbow pain. But the bottom line is that mostly this is caused from a lack of mobility or from a lack of flexibility. And there are a few factors that are working against you here. Number one, most of us are sitting at a desk or sitting at an office of some sort. We're not moving around during the day. We're not being active. And that kills your mobility. So that kills your shoulder mobility. That kills your hip mobility. That weakens your body. So it makes your muscles weaker. And it means that when you go straight into your workout after you're sitting down all day, your body isn't doing what it's supposed to do. The right muscles aren't firing. You're not using your glutes, right? Your butt muscles aren't working. Your abs aren't turning on. And your lower back is making up for that. Your knees are making up for that. And that comes out in the form of pain. And when you're sitting a lot, the shoulders hunch forward. That kills the shoulder mobility. And that means that we get difficulty with things like pressing arms overhead. So we start to avoid those movements that cause pain. And actually that causes more pain because when you stop doing certain movements, your muscles get weaker, and then weakness translates into pain at some point. So, a lot of us want to avoid pain while working out. But if you stop avoiding things that push you, right? If you do things only that are comfortable, then you're not going to get stronger. The issue is that most of us we push ourselves when it comes to strength, right? So lots of us will keep doing bench press, we'll keep doing squats, we'll keep doing deadlifts, and they might hurt a little bit, right? The shoulders might hurt, the lower back, the knees might hurt, but we just keep doing them. But if we were to focus on mobility for a little bit, so if we were to work on our hip mobility, if we were to work on our shoulder mobility, we wouldn't have that pain. You wouldn't have pain in your knees. You wouldn't have pain in your lower back. But most of us just aren't doing some sort of mobility training that, similar to weight training, pushes us or challenges us. So we're not doing the exercises or the postures or the stretches or whatever you want to call it that lead to improving your mobility. And when we don't do that, your mobility starts to suffer. There's no such thing as just maintaining or staying even. For the most part, you're either getting stronger or you're getting weaker. So when it comes to your mobility, most of us aren't doing mobility work, and the mobility work is your mobility is just getting worse and worse and worse over time. And again, you can get away with that for a while, but if you are an active guy and you're working out 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times per week, eventually this is going to start to negatively impact your workouts. And again, you might already be there. You might already be experiencing that lower back pain that you never had before. Or maybe your knees are starting to hurt after your workouts. Maybe your shoulders are hurting after your workouts. Lots of like buttons happening right now. So the reason, again, why this is happening is because you're not working on your mobility. When your muscles get tight, they put more tension on your joints. Okay, so if we can think of flexibility as something that creates more slack in the system that is your body, and the pulleys and the levers and however you want to think of this, that is your body. When you don't have that length in the muscles, it pulls more on the joints. So without working, this is a crude explanation, but when you have a lack of mobility in your muscles, that means more tension on the joints. And that's the pain that most of us associate with, just being active. But the truth is that if you have high levels of mobility, if you have adequate levels of mobility for what you are doing, and you're not overtraining every day, you shouldn't have pain from your exercise. Yes, soreness, absolutely, but pain shouldn't be a regular part of your exercise program. So when you start working on your mobility, here's what starts to happen. Those little aches and pains that you used to have when you were working out, they start to go away. Your knees start to feel better. Your lower back starts to feel better. Your shoulders feel better. You recover more quickly. So you're getting less sore and you're recovering more quickly from your workouts because you have a more balanced musculature. You're working on correcting the imbalances that stem from a lack of mobility. So instead of only using your chest, right, when you're doing an overhead press, when we work on our shoulder mobility, now we get to draw the ribs in, we bring our arms back a little bit more, and now when we're doing overhead presses, now we're using our upper back. So we don't have that pain in the fronts of your shoulders. When it comes to squats, the reason why people have pain in squats is because they lack hip mobility and they lack core strength and they lack glute engagement. We don't know how to use our glutes. So when you're not using your glutes and when you have poor posture, when you have poor mobility, what happens in that squat is that you start to lean forward like this and the knees come forward. Instead of sitting back into that squat, right, and getting the butt back and keeping your knees relatively back for the most part, and the weight is in the hips. Now you've got the weight in the hips, your glutes are working, your core is working, and that's taking the pressure out of your lower back. So the thing is, again, and that all will happen when you start to work on your mobility. And the thing is that you don't have to spend that much time on your mobility for it to have a significant impact. You don't have to give up the other things that you're doing. You don't have to go to a yoga gym. You don't have to go to a yoga studio 5 times a week. You don't have to go to a yoga studio 3 times per week. You can do all this stuff in the comfort of your own home. You can easily fit in a 20-minute session here or there. You can learn some stretches and some postures to help with your specific lack of mobility issues. And then you can just start to do those on a regular basis, right? So again, it doesn't have to be this big, huge commitment. And it doesn't have to be, a lifestyle change. You don't have to go vegan. You don't have to, you don't have to change your religion. You don't have to do anything like that. It's just stretching. You're starting to stretch more. You're starting to exercise differently. You're starting to work on different types of movements, stuff that you're not doing with your weight training. And that's just going to make your exercise feel way better. And in addition, it's going to allow you to actually keep exercising. So one of the biggest results, or one of the biggest issues that comes from a lack of mobility, is that your risk of injury goes way up. So if you don't have adequate mobility in your muscles, that means that your joints are at a higher risk of injury. So, that's when MCL issues happen. That's when ACL issues happen. That's when you start to have more, issues in your shoulders. You have rotator cuff issues. When you lack mobility, it means that your body is not moving the way that it's supposed to. So in addition to making you feel way better in your exercise, fewer aches and pains, exercise feeling more fluid, you're also going to be able to keep exercising in general, right? So if you can't exercise, if you're injured, you cannot exercise, which means that you're missing out on all of those gains from your potential workouts, all those potential gains from your workouts. And what my recommendation is in terms of starting a yoga program and how consistent to be, really all you need to do is about 100 minutes per week. Now, 100 minutes per week sounds like a lot, But here's the thing, it's really not. When you think of 100 minutes per week, that comes down to 2 20-minute sessions twice per week and 10 minutes per day. Oh, wait, that doesn't add up. So it comes to 3 20 minutes per week and 4 10 minutes per week, right? So if you can spend 10 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes in the evening 3 times per day, and then spend 10 minutes every other day or 3 times per week, and then spend 4 other days doing 10 minutes of yoga, that's plenty for you to notice results. Now, I do recommend that you do at least 2 longer sessions where you're doing about 25, 30, 35 minutes of just yoga. But it depends on your schedule. You know, if you don't have that much time, you do what you can. But my recommendation is that you're doing at least 2 25, 30, or 35-minute yoga workouts per week. So again, those are really the main benefits of what's going to happen when you start to work more on your ability. Just things are going to feel way better. You're not going to have joint pain. You're not going to have the discomfort in your knees or your back or your shoulders. And you are going to prevent injury, especially preventing the risk of injury from overtraining. That's a huge part of this, is preventing the risk of injury or lowering your risk of injury from overtraining. And so, yeah. So what questions have I not answered so far? We've got a good amount of people watching. So go ahead and leave some questions now. And I'm just going to keep talking until I see some questions. So guys, start leaving some questions. Let's talk more about how can yoga help with inflexible dudes, or what are the benefits of mobility for inflexible people, right? And I know that one of the main reasons why people don't want to spend time on their flexibility is because they don't think that it's important. In guy world, strength is king, right? Strength is the most important thing. We want to build muscle. We want to look strong. We want the big chest. We want the arms. We want the back. But here's the thing. That's just one part of your fitness. And working on the other aspects of your fitness, namely on your flexibility and your mobility, is actually going to make strength better. You're going to get way better at strength training. You're going to be able to get better results in less time. You're going to be able to have more efficient, better workouts in less time. So you're going to spend less time in the gym, and you're going to get better results and feel better. So if you're lifting 5 times per week right now, if you're spending 5 hours in the gym and all you're doing is lifting, I bet you that if you spend 3 hours lifting per week and started doing 2-hour yoga sessions instead of that, or if you just did 2 30-minute yoga sessions, that you would see more significant results from that. And again, the reason for that is because most of us lack mobility. We are not training our mobility. We're not improving mobility the same way that we're improving our strength. And you might not have any issues now, maybe in your 20s, your 30s, and it hasn't quite caught up to you yet. But by the time you hit your 40s, your 50s, your 60s, trust me, you are going to have pain in your body. It's going to happen if you're not working on your mobility or stretching in some form. Doesn't mean that you have to go to yoga 5 times a week. You don't have to do hour-long sessions. You just need to be doing some sort of flexibility training, some sort of mobility, some sort of recovery program to make sure that you are doing, it's like the maintenance on your body. This is like getting your oil changed for your car, or washing your car, right? Or just cleaning your kitchen. However you want to think about this. This is the maintenance for your body. And if you don't do this, the main stuff that your body does, the strength training, the running, whatever it is that you enjoy doing in terms of fitness, that's going to start to suffer if you don't work on your mobility. For me, that was what happened with me. I was a lacrosse player. I stumbled into a yoga studio. I did my first yoga session totally on accident, and I realized just how weak I was. At this time, I was probably 8% body fat. I was 180 pounds. I was strong. I was the fastest guy on my team. I was the most athletic guy on my team. I thought I was in awesome shape. And this yoga class kicked my ass because I didn't do any of these things all these things that were happening in yoga class. I didn't do any of that outside of yoga, or I wasn't doing any of that in my normal training. So I learned about all these different ways that I was weak. And as I started working on these things that at first were uncomfortable and I didn't know how to do, then I started noticing that all my other exercise got better and that I was more in tune with my body and that I felt more full body strength. And I understood how to engage all of my muscles in my body while I was doing full body lifts. So my deadlifting got better. My squats got better. I started to understand what glute activation actually was. I understood the importance of engaging my upper back and my shoulders when I was doing pressing exercises. And I understood the benefits of shoulder mobility. So something that I'd never worked on before. Started working on my shoulder mobility and my shoulders felt way better, which was really important for me as a lacrosse player because I was doing a lot of overhead motions. So anyways, that's just my experience with flexibility, and there's no reason why I can't transform the way that you work out just like it did for me. But I want to save you time. Instead of you going to a yoga studio and trying to figure out how to do yoga for yourself, if you're an inflexible guy, if your focus is on the fitness, I want you to skip all the years of yoga studios that I did, and I want you to go straight to what I learned and how I was able to get stronger at doing yoga, and what I learned and how I put that into a program so that instead of spending years trying to learn all this stuff, you can learn it in just a couple of months, in just a few months, really. All right, so I did have a question. Stretches to improve sport. Yeah, basically, it's a very vague question. So how can yoga help? What can yoga do that your other workouts aren't doing? This was from someone from France who asked this question. But basically what yoga is going to do that you're not getting from your other workouts is mainly you're working on hip mobility, you're working on core strength, you're working on spinal mobility, shoulder mobility, and balance work, and then recovery. So those are the things that I think are the most important when it comes to yoga and what you're not getting from your other workouts. And again, that's working on your hip mobility, specifically on your hip and your core strength, on your shoulder mobility, on balance work, so just different kind of exercises standing on one foot, and then on restorative work, so just on restorative stretching to help your muscles recover and to help release muscle tension. All right, so other questions. Can you talk about how yoga can help with burning fat? Yeah, so most typical yoga workouts aren't going to burn a lot of fat. And I'm telling you that straight up because I know a lot of people who have been doing yoga for a long time and their body hasn't changed that much. The way that burning fat happens is through building muscle. So if you're not doing a yoga class that forces your muscles to get to that point where they're shaking and fatiguing, then you're not going to burn a lot of fat with yoga. That's just not how fat loss works. So if you're trying to lose fat with yoga, you want to make sure that you're doing a type of yoga that burns a lot of, that builds muscle. And the way that you build muscle is you hold postures for a longer time. You do more volume and you do more intensity. So you have to do exercises where you get your muscles to that point where they're shaking and they're fatigued. You have to keep doing them. You have to do a lot of them, and you have to hold them for a longer time. So that's why I don't like typical yoga for burning fat, because when you're only holding the pose for 5 or 6 seconds at a time and you're just moving quickly through things, that's not good for building muscle. You're not going to build significant muscle doing that. The way to build muscle is by holding it for a long time and then by doing reps on top of that. So starting to get to that point of fatigue and then keep going. So increasing that volume, increasing that intensity, and working deeper and pushing yourself. So that's how you're going to burn fat doing yoga, not if you're doing very quick yoga though. So fast-paced yoga is not good for burning fat. Sure, it's an aerobic workout. It might be fun, but fitness-wise, results-wise, you're not going to get optimal results from that. I'm not saying that it can't be done. I'm saying it's inefficient and it's ineffective. If you want to take an hour and apply it to an exercise or a workout that will burn fat, doing typical yoga is not the best way to do that. And so what I do with Manful Yoga is much different from typical yoga. We hold the postures for a longer time. We focus more on muscle activation. We focus more on a sequence that builds strength and gets you to that point of fatigue where your muscles are shaking and you can't go any longer. So again, Manful Yoga, if you guys are looking to build muscle with yoga, this is the way to do it. This is what I've heard from people time and time again. I've heard people who go to typical yoga workouts and they don't get the same results. So if you're looking to build significant muscle with yoga, manful yoga is, in my opinion, in my totally biased opinion, it's the best way to do it intelligently. So, all right. I have a sit-stand desk at work. Should I use that and switch between sitting and standing? Will that help my mobility? Hey, Josh. Yeah, so I would actually ditch your chair and just stand all the time. Personally, for me, I've noticed a huge improvement in my hip mobility when I started to stand all the time. So this is my stand-up setup, right? I'm at a stand-up desk right now, and I never sit. If I do sit, I sit on the floor. So I don't sit in a chair at all. So I would throw your chair out. You might not be able to, throw it out the window at work, but I would just not use a chair at all. And if you do get tired, then what I would recommend doing is, sorry, battery issues here. So what I would say is, if you do get tired of standing up at work and you want to sit down, then I would just try doing different movements with your legs, right? You can instead of standing, you can do somewhat of a lunge, right? You can hold this for a while. You can also get a foot pedal, or you can get a little block of something, and you can just rest your foot on that block in front of you. So you're just going to bring your leg a couple inches forward or a few feet forward. Sorry, you guys can't see me doing this, but basically I'm just going to bring my leg forward and rest my foot on that block, and that's going to help reduce some of the tension in the lower back. But avoid chairs as often as you possibly can to work on your mobility. All right, so Dustin left a comment. Dustin is actually one of our success stories in the members area. He's been using yoga to help with his soccer performance. He doesn't like going to the gym. His workouts of choice are soccer and yoga. And he recently got MVP at his soccer tournament. His team won the tournament, won the championship, and he's also lost, I want to say, 16 pounds doing manful yoga, something like that. So he's one of our success stories. He said he's tried a few yoga programs, did nothing for my fitness and sports. Best thing I could have done was find your program. It's been almost a year, but it's helped with fitness levels, and I thought I was in shape playing soccer. But then I realized that after doing your session, I was not, and I wasn't actively using my muscles. So that's the one thing that's one thing that's really going to help. I think one aspect is that improved muscle activation. So even if we're not talking about the recovery of the flexibility aspects, one thing that really sets apart manful yoga from other types of yoga is our focus on muscle activation. And the reason why muscle activation is important, the more muscle activation you have, the more strength, the more muscle you can utilize when you are exercising. So if you have poor muscle activation, it's kind of like doing an exercise with only 80 or 70% of your power. Now, when you have good muscle activation or great muscle activation, that means that you can use 100% of your strength. But unless you're doing specific exercises to improve that muscle activation, you're not going to get it. So a lot of what we focus on is improving muscle activation with yoga and with isometric exercises. So that's one other giant benefit of doing manful yoga is you're going to improve your muscle activation, and you're going to get way stronger and be able to build more muscle as a result of that. Sitting on a ball works better than a chair. Yes, it does. Josh asked a question. Cool. Someone just asked the same exact question and said, should I just follow what you said? Yes, you should just follow what I said. Just stand up as much as you can. You might get to a point where your lower back starts to hurt if you're standing up a lot. One other thing I forgot to mention when it comes to standing up, try putting a block or a foam roller between your legs. So right between your thighs. Kind of just below your pubic bone, just below your whatever, if you're a guy, below there. But you just want to put a block or a foam roller between your thighs, and that actually helps keep your legs active while you're standing, and that's going to help reduce tension in your lower back. Let's see. Derek Bowman just commented about the Strength Foundation course. This is that muscle. This is something that I've talked about. This is something I just talked about. The Strength Foundation course is hugely focused on improving muscle activation. And he's talking about the workout number 3, which is focused on improving your glute activation. So if you have bad knees, if you want to get stronger in your glutes, if you have trouble building muscle in your glutes, that's going to help out a lot. Terry Dunn, I've never tried yoga. Where, how, and what steps would I take? Go to my website, and start there. I've got a free 7-day intro that you can start. I also have a lot of beginners programs. So you can go to manflowyoga.com, and for the same cost of a single yoga class, you can get a full program. So you can go to a yoga class, pay 15 bucks, and you probably won't get attention, and you probably won't get a class that's focused on what you need. Or you can go to manflowyoga.com. You can sign up for a 7-day trial for $1, and then you can choose from any number of beginners programs and use those workouts as often as you want in 1 month for the same cost as one yoga class. So manflowyoga.com, Terry. And you can also check out my YouTube channel, and there's a bunch of free workouts there and shorter workouts and some other things that we don't have in the members area. If you want to try it out first and kind of understand. But if you want a program, if you're a beginner and you want a program to follow, highly recommend going to my website and starting one of my programs. I have 3 programs in particular that are great for beginners. One is called the Quick Learner. This is 20-minute workouts, culminating on a specific movement at the end of the workout. I have a Strength Foundations course, which is incredible. This is something that I've spent years really thinking of developing, and I finally put it out a couple months ago, or actually just last month. And that is an incredible program. I highly recommend it. And then I would also recommend Guy Yoga, which is, it's known as Yoga Boost on Amazon. It's a top 10 bestseller. It actually got all the way up to number 2. It's sold over 20,000 DVDs. And that is the most popular beginner program that I have. So there's a lot of programs to choose from on the website. And if you're an inflexible guy who hasn't done yoga before, this is the best place to start. Again, unless you're going to a specific yoga class created for guys who are inflexible, who haven't done yoga before, this is the easiest way to do yoga and to learn yoga. And I've had people say that they've learned more from 1 week of my videos than going to a yoga class for a year. The technique is that focused and it's that intensive that you're just going to learn way more working with me through my videos online than you are going to a yoga class where the focus isn't necessarily on technique. It's more on an experience. Because the point of most yoga classes is not fitness. It's a blend of spiritual and fitness. And at Manful Yoga, what I do is all fitness. I'm not ashamed to admit it. In fact, I'm proud to say it. This is all fitness. This is what I'm interested in. And because I'm interested in that, I'm sure that there are other people out there who are interested in it. And that's exactly why I made Manful Yoga. All right, let's see here. Long Row mentioned muscle activation. I've already noticed a huge positive difference with core engagement. That is great to hear. And yeah, working on just taking time to slow things down and work on improving your muscle activation is incredible for not just yoga, but everything. You're going to notice it more in your posture. You're going to notice more in weightlifting and running. Just everything else is going to start to feel way better. All right, Derek's got a question. Would a person's build affect their flexibility? I find my range of motion is limited as a thicker fella. Yes, it does. So quite frankly, if you have a belly, that will get in the way of you doing forward folds. But there are a lot of ways to get around that. I actually have a workout that I called Yoga for Fat Guys. And I just straight up called it Yoga for Fat Guys because I wanted to be blunt. And it shows bigger guys how they can work around typical yoga. Some examples of that is when you're doing a forward fold, you're just going to spread your legs, which gives your belly some room to fold instead of trying to fold with your feet tucked together and your knees right next to each other. So opening up your stance a little bit helps if you have a belly. And there are just some other pointers in that. Things like not wanting to rest on your stomach if you have a really large belly, or other things like that that help you work around if you do have a larger build. All right, what are the benefits of yoga and mental health? So yoga helps. There's a lot of mental benefits as well. In terms of your mental health, yoga is very good for promoting relaxation. It helps to improve your focus. So when you're focusing on your body as intently as you are while doing yoga, that also translates into all the other things that you think about, including work, including reading. So all that stuff gets better when you start to do yoga. I can smell sweet potatoes burning. I'll be right back. All right, and I'm back. All right, so what was I just talking about? Oh, mental benefits of yoga. Yeah, so stress relief is a big one. Improved focus is another one. Those are the two that I think are the most important. Stress relief, and again, improving your focus. Just because when you're slowing things down and focusing on your body and focusing on the pose intently, it just improves your focus. So that's really all there is to it. And we don't really need to be able to explain it. It doesn't matter if you're doing manful yoga, or if you're doing another type of yoga. There are huge benefits to doing any type of yoga. Just the movements involved, the postures involved. And it's not necessarily that the postures are magic. It's just that the way that the postures are done is very good for improving your mental health. So just being in a posture, right? So just being still in a posture and working on your body's alignment and focusing on that helps to improve your your immediate mental state, and that leads to mental health improvement over time. So yeah. Yeah. All right, cool. So reason why I got on this broadcast to do this is because I wanted to let you know that I've just released a program for inflexible guys who are inactive, guys who are active, who are working out, but who haven't taken the steps to start yoga yet. So this is a beginner's yoga program, again, focused on inflexible active guys. So if you're working out, if you're lifting weights, if you're running, and you're an active guy, but you haven't started doing yoga yet, this is a really great program for you guys. And this is available in my members area through my website at manfulyoga.com. And we have open enrollment this week. So ending on August 20th, that's a Monday. That's the last day to enroll. And after that, members area will be closed for enrollment, and you won't be able to sign up until we open enrollment again. So if you're watching this now and this is all making sense and you're ready to jump into a program, head on over to my website, manfulyoga.com, and you can sign up for the members area. It's just $1, and that gets you access to all of my workout programs, as well as this new program that I'm talking about. So there are over 30 programs, over 260 full-length workouts, and you will also join the Manful Yoga community. It's very affordable. It's between $15 to $25 a month, and that gets you access to all workouts. All right, just a couple other questions, then I got to get off. Does endurance for running or leg-focused strength training lend itself to endurance for stances like the runner's lunge? Yeah, it translates. Somewhat. It will help, but it's not the same thing. So your body will have to build up strength for both of those exercises, right? Isometric exercises are different from running because you're holding it. So you might be really good at lifting weights or running, but when you get to a point where you're just holding an exercise like a runner's lunge, and all you're doing is that runner's lunge and holding it for 30 seconds, it might be really different. It might be really difficult because your body's just not used to it. So yes, you'll be better because you've done those other workouts, those other exercises, but you will have to work on isometric strength itself to get better at it, if that makes sense, Derek. Robson, do you do other physical exercises besides yoga? Yes, I do. I try to lift 2 times per week, and I usually do about 30 to 45 minutes. Most of what I do is yoga. Yoga serves kind of as my basis for my physical fitness. And that's because I just think it's a fantastic workout. I think it's great for core strength. It's great for mobility. It's great for maintaining and improving range of motion. And it sets me up with a really strong foundation for all the other exercises that I want to do. So I'm also a lacrosse player. I play in a men's league, And I try to be in really good shape for that. So I do running and I sprint for that. And again, I also lift weights. I do pull-ups and I go hiking as well. So those are a lot of my physical. Those are a lot of my physical exercises. Yoga makes up, I'd say, about 60% to 70% of what I do. So about 60 or 70 or maybe even 75% of my time spent exercising is spent doing yoga. So yeah. And that question was for Robson Theja. All right, let me see if there's any other questions I missed. Yoga for mental health, we got that. Talked about yoga for fat burn. And we've just got a lot of people joining here. So nothing to respond to for that. Scrolling. Dustin just left another comment. Honestly, hands down for everything you have done and the time you have put towards this and the community programs, challenges, and the live videos. Thanks, Dustin. It's great to have you here, man. I'm glad that out of all the fitness resources there are online, I'm glad that this is working for you, and I'm glad that you've trusted me with your fitness. So thank you very much. And if you guys are watching now and you want to start working on your mobility, I think this is the easiest way to do it. You don't have to go to a yoga studio. You don't have to feel out of place. You don't have to get dressed up. You just need to turn on your computer or open your phone and follow along to a workout. I'll walk you through everything. All the workouts are very technique focused. You don't have to have any prior experience of yoga. I'll give you modifications so that if you can't do a pose a particular way, I'll show you how to do it with your level of flexibility and your level of strength. And that's really what I do. I teach guys how to do yoga in a way that improves your fitness. And it's not just men, it's also women too. I'd say that about 10 to 15% of our members are women. And they like Manful Yoga because it's focused on the fitness. We kind of take out the stuff that isn't fitness related. We keep it focused on a workout and we make it as efficient as possible. And I try to teach you as much as I possibly can while I'm leading you through that workout. So in addition to getting a great workout, you're also learning about how your body works and what you need to do to correct your imbalances and what you need to do to fix your specific issues. So you'll learn about how to take care of your knees and how to take care of your back and how to take care of your shoulders. And you'll be able to start doing that on your own, even without me. So I think that some of the coolest things that have happened as a result of Manful Yoga, the people that I work with, are those people that have gotten to the point now where they know exactly what they need to do to get rid of shoulder aches or shoulder pain, or they know exactly what they need to do if they notice that, certain parts of their fitness are lagging behind the other. So, I think that's really cool that when you get to the point where you don't need me, but you just know everything and you know what you need to do to take care of yourself, that's awesome. So pay attention to the workouts, follow a program, and there's no reason why you're not going to see results. One of the things I hear most often is that people will notice results in the first couple weeks of doing them. You don't have to do the workouts for months and months until you notice results. You start to feel way better within the first couple weeks. You start to notice that your back feels better, your knees feel better, your other exercise feels better. You notice that your energy levels go up, stress levels go down. All these magical things happen from just doing about 10, 15, 20 minutes a day. And it's totally up to you. It depends on your schedule. Again, my recommendation is that you do 100 minutes per week. But if you can't do that, you do what you can. And you can keep doing all the other stuff you're doing. You don't need to change your diet. You don't need to stop your other workouts. Just fit in yoga where you can. If you're feeling really sore, instead of doing another workout, go do a yoga workout. It's really simple. All right, cool. And last question, any plans for a workout in the Southeast? Is that like Louisiana and Florida? It is on our list of places to go. We haven't scheduled it yet, to answer you, Bradley. The next workshop we have is going to be in Philadelphia. For anybody watching this live now or not live, we've got a workshop going on in Philadelphia Atlanta. Yeah, Atlanta would be cool. But the workshop is in Philadelphia on Sunday at, I think, 11:30 a.m. On September 30th. So September 30th, Sunday morning. Join me in Philadelphia. Actually, I think it's in Huntington Valley. So it's like 30 minutes outside of Philadelphia. Yeah, Philadelphia. Josh Melman, but it's in the suburbs actually. Yeah, it's not in the it's not downtown. I talked with a few people and they said that it'd be easier to do a suburb because parking downtown is a pain in the ass. So we're doing it in a suburb, but it is in relative proximity of Philly. So I hope you can join me there. And then I'm also going to be doing one in Cleveland, which is where I'm from, on Black Friday. So that is November 23rd. We don't have sign-up information for that yet, but just know that it is happening. And that's going to be November 23rd on a Friday at 11 a.m. So Clevelanders, mark your calendar. Philadelphia, if you guys are already members, you can show up for free. If you're not in the members area yet, you can sign up. It's open to the public, and I think it's just $15 for a 90-minute workshop. And you can learn more about that on my blog. Go to manfulyoga.com/blog, and you'll also be able to check out a bunch of the other workouts. And you'll also be able to see a lot of other. You'll also be able to say a lot of other. What am I trying to say? Oh, on the blog, you're gonna see it. You're gonna see a lot of other workouts and some other blogs giving you more information about yoga and stuff, and lots of stuff on the website. So head over and check it out. And if you're not already subscribed on YouTube, make sure you are subscribed on YouTube. YouTube.com/manfulyoga. We put out weekly content there. Try to help you learn yoga in a way to improve your fitness. That's what I'm all about. So lots of helpful videos and lots of helpful information over there. Josh, sorry that it's not going to work out for you in Philly. That was just the information that I got. So if you have an idea, Josh, if you have an idea about a yoga studio that might want to host me, send me a message and I can reach out to them. Maybe we can put on something in the city as well. All right, cool, guys. I'll see you guys later. Have a good one. Again, subscribe on YouTube. Check out the website, manfulyoga.com. And open enrollment is going on this week. So if you want access to all my workouts, my programs, diet, nutrition information, and you want to join the Manful Yoga community, you can get started for just $1 at manfulyoga.com. And that gets you access for a week trial to check out all of my content, all of the workouts. And if you hate it and you hate me, you can cancel your trial and you won't be charged a thing. All right, guys, that's it. I'm going to see you guys later. Have a great Thursday night. Have a great weekend. And again, open enrollment this week ends on Monday, August 20th. Sign up before then if you want to get access to my workouts. I'll see you guys later.